What's up, guys? How are you all doing? Today on this Maker Monday, we're going to be checking out some interesting measurement tools to help you in basically modeling up your stuff. This is going to be for basically 3D printing. These are some of the tools that I use. You can use whatever you want, but I'm going to show you how to read some of these, as well as how to calibrate them if they get out of calibration. But these are some good measurement tools that you can use to measure board sizes, or diameters, or whatever, what have you. So anyway, we're going to be checking that out today on our Maker Monday. So I'm going to make sure and check a timer, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So for the first one that I want to look at, excuse me, I bumped the camera there, these are called Vernier Calipers, or for short, we all just call them calipers, okay? These things can measure, the specific pair that I have, can measure down to the thousandth of an inch. Let me zoom in here so you can see that. These are what's called dial calipers because they've got obviously a dial face on them. You can buy the digital ones, but if you watch some of my videos, I talk about the digital ones, and they're nice because they're digital, but the only problem is they take batteries. And if the batteries die, then you don't get your measurements because there's no, see, like this one has numberings on it and everything else. The other ones do not. They do not have the cool numbering systems and whatnot on it. So it makes it a real bear if the batteries die. So I recommend dial calipers because they take no batteries and they just work, right? So basically how this works, let me show you this here. See, maybe I'll get a small screwdriver or something to point things out with. So basically how this works, when you open one of these up, all right, each one of these marks is a tenth of an inch. So you can see it, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you've got a whole inch. So these are tenths of an inch that are in between, all right? Now, when you want to get even down further, you remember if you remember your decimal points, you've got tenths, hundredths, and thousandths place. Now what this is telling you on this dial caliper, 0.001 means each tick mark on here is a thousandth of an inch. So each tick mark is a thousandth. So what this is doing is this is going 0 and then 10 thousandths, 20 thousandths, 30 thousandths, 40 thousandths, 50 thousandths, so on and so forth. And each tick mark is a thousandth of an inch. So basically when you read it, if you wanted to do a half of an inch exactly, then you would come close to this 5 and you would basically zero this out because that would be a half of an inch, all right? So that distance in between here is perfectly 1/2 of an inch. Now, if I wanted to measure something, let me back off a little bit. Oop, wrong way. Like for instance, I've got this cool flashlight here. Maybe I want to measure the diameter of it. Well, I just pull this back and then I scoot it till it stops on there, and then we look at it. So basically what I've got here, see if I can get it to focus. So basically what I have is I've got almost 9 thousandths. It's actually a little bit, it's a little bit over. So what we've got is 900 and, let's see if I can get right here. There we go. 900 and what, 3 thousandths? 903 thousandths. So 0.903 is basically what this is. It's almost an inch around, but not quite. So that's how you read a set of these. Similarly, this top part is for measuring inside diameter. So if I had, let's see what I have around here in the deal here. Let's see. Oh, I've got a ring from one of our. I think this is big enough. Hopefully this will be able to measure it. If I want to know this inside diameter, so these are for OD or outside diameter. If I want to know the inside diameter, I take and spread this out until they touch either side. Now I can look, and what we've got is we're definitely over 2 inches, but we're not quite 3, so we're 2 inches, we're over 9 thousandths, or 9/10 of an inch, so we're 2 inches, so 2.9, 2.914, 2.914. So that's about 14, if you look at that real close, that's about 10, 11, 12, 3, almost 14 thousandths. So we're 2.914. That's how big the inside of this ring is. So That's basically how you use Vernier calipers. Another very helpful spot on these is the tail end. You notice that this comes out when you slide it. This is very good for measuring depth of things. So let's say I've got this plastic thing here. I want to know how high it is from this lip to the top of this. Well, if you take your calipers, extend out that little deal, and set it, see if I can do this with, set it on the side here, like so. Here, or maybe I can do it this way. Well, my hand's going to be in the way. Set it on the side, and then I will run it down till it touches. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this down till it touches that lip. See? So like that. As you can see, it's touching. So I've got it sitting on the top of this, and I've run it down on the side of it. Basically, the thickness of that is approximately, focus, is approximately 600 and what is that, 663. So 663,000, so 0.663 is how thick this is from this lip to the top of that. But you see how that works? You just set the calipers on it and measure it with that kind of tang that sticks off the end. That's how you do that. Now, if these ever get out of cal, that's what's awesome about dial calipers. I don't know, certain digital ones you can calibrate them, but some of them you can't, but usually they have a 0 on them. But anyway, what you can do with these is if they're out of cal, you get a standard is what it's called. This one is very, very old, but it's a micrometer standard. What it is, it's a little circular little dial. This has been machined, precision machined, to be exactly 1 inch in diameter. That's what the 1 means, okay? So it's exactly 1 inch in diameter. So that's how you check to make sure that these are calibrated properly, is you put them on a standard. And as we measure the standard, it should be exactly 1 inch. And it is. If this was off, you loosen this little screw, and then you turn the face of the dial until you line the 0 up with it. Now, another cool thing that these have is they have a lock screw on them. So if I'm measuring multiple things over and over and over that are 1 inch, and I don't want this to move because, you know, if you bang it around or something, which you should never do, these are usually precision done, so you don't want to ever bang these around. You want to be gentle with these. But anyway, you can set this set screw, and now, well, I turned it the wrong way. So once I set the set screw on it, set this. Oh, if I can get the set screw to turn, there it is. I turned it the wrong way. Now I can't close the jaws. See? So if I'm measuring things around, I'm kind of clickety-clacking it around or something, I can make sure that it holds that position, and that's a perfect 1 inch that I'm measuring. Okay. And then I can obviously loosen it up to close it. All right? And like I said, you be gentle with those. Those are Vernier calipers, or for short, we just call them calipers. Now, another one that's a very interesting one is what's called a micrometer. Okay? So these are different, or mics for short. Okay? Now, these measure outside diameter, but they're extremely precise. It's just another way of measuring things that increases your precision. These will be more precise than those. So if you're really needing things to be super duper precise, you're going to use a micrometer. Okay? So now, same thing, you can use a standard, and how these work, depending on what kind you have. Mine has a ratchet end to it. I don't know if you can hear that. You hear that? That's a ratchet end. What that's for is for when you're lining up something, okay, you're turning it. Once you don't want, whoops, let me just get where I can show it. You don't want to crank it down to where it clamps whatever you're doing. This isn't a clamp, okay? This is a measurement instrument, okay? So you don't want to clamp whatever you're looking at. You just want to measure it. So what you do is when you crank this down onto here, okay, you want it to just barely touch. So you twist when it starts getting close, you twist that ratcheted part, and then once it kind of bottoms out, it'll ratchet on you. I don't know if you can hear that. But basically it's ratcheting to let you know that, okay, I'm not clamping it too tight and I'm not holding it too loose, so now I'm going to get an accurate measurement. So I can lock it. This is a lock ring. You twist it. You can lock it. and see you can't push it back. And then this one is a 1 to 2 inch micrometer. So it will measure anything from 1 inch to 2 inches. Now I've got my 1 inch standard, so this should be 1 inch. Now if we look at it, I'm going to zoom in because these are sometimes hard to read. So if we look at it, the 0 is on the 0, which means when you're at 0, 0 on this one, it starts at 1 inch and moves to 2 inches. So when this is zeroed, the distance between here and here is exactly 1 inch, okay? So that's how these work, okay? Now, starting at 1 inch, it moves in 25 thousandths of an inch at a shot. So what I mean by that is if you see this 0, each one of these is 1,000th of an inch. Each one of these ticks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thousandths of an inch, 10 thousandths, 15, 20, and then that's going to be 25. And that's the first hash mark. If you see there's hash marks in here, each hash mark that's in here, let's see if we can get, let me set this down. Let's see if we can get a good shot of that. It's hard to see. All right, each one of those hash marks, let's see if I can show this. Let's see, can you guys see that? Hopefully you can see that. Each one of these hash marks is 25 thousandths of an inch, okay? So the longer hash mark is 50 thousandths of an inch, and then when you get to the 1, 2, 3, 4, these are tenths of an inch. So that's 0.1 inches, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, so on and so forth, like that, okay? So that's how you read one of these. They're a little bit trickier to read. Come on, camera, focus. See if I can get my hand by it. There we go, that looks good. Okay, see those individual marks? Let's see if I can get that. These individual, so these are 25 thousandths of an inch per each tick mark. So the first one is 25, 50, 75, and then 100, which is 0.1 inches. So that's 100 thousandths of an inch. See? Then 25, 50, 75, and then another 100 makes 200, or 0.2. See? And then as this turns, see, you've got, there's your 25 thousandths of an inch. So there's 0, then there's 5, 10, 15, 20, and then you back to 0, you get 25 thousandths. Okay? So that's how you read these. Now these can come with bigger standards, especially when you get a big monster one like this, that is a 2 to 3 inch. I don't know if you can see that, 2 to 3 inch. Now your 1 inch won't work, right? Because this starts at 2 inches. So if it starts at 2 inches, then we need a 2 inch standard, and that's what this is. If you see, let's see if I can zoom in on this. Let's see if we can see it here. This has a little 2 on it. See the little 2? That means 2 inch standard. So from end to end, this is 2 inches. So if we take this and we set this on this and we crank this down till it touches, till we, there we go. It's not exactly straight. Hold it onto there. Okay, lock that in so it doesn't move. Now if we look, now this guy might actually be out of cal. He's out of cal. Okay, so this guy at that 2 inch setting, he's actually about 5 thousandths off. See the 5 here? So you need to take that, note that, so whenever you measure things, you're going to have to subtract 5 thousandths from it because this caliper is actually, this micrometer is actually 5 thousandths off. Okay? That's why you have your standards. If you're needing to measure stuff super precise, you're going to use one of these micrometers because they're more precision than these, and you want to have some standards so that way you can test and see if these are out of calibration. Okay? So, but these, same deal. Let me loosen this up. Same thing. Let's get my super zoom here. Get it to focus. Focus! But same deal. It's done in 25 thousandths of an inch. The 1, 2, 3, 4, those are 100 thousandths of an inch. And then the dial here goes 0, 15, 20, and then back to 0 is 25. So it's in increments of 25 thousandths of an inch. All right? So any case, those are a few tools that you can use to help you go along. If you're wanting to do super precision, or if you're wanting to just get a gist, The best one that I recommend, you can find these on Amazon. In fact, I'll put a link down in the description for a set. In fact, I just ordered a new set that is metric, so it's not the English standard. Since so much stuff is metric, I highly recommend getting both. Getting a standard one, which is in thousandths of an inch, and then also getting a metric one, because the metric ones will help out, especially when you're dealing with 3D printing. Almost everything's in millimeters. So I suggest getting a metric one. I'll get one soon. I'll probably take some pictures of it and throw it on social media so you guys can see which one it is. I'll also put a link down in the description so that you guys know which one that I bought. Comes highly recommended. I'll see how accurate it is. I'll check it with my standards, because I can do the conversion on, 1 inch is 25.4 millimeters. 2 inches would be twice that, so on and so forth. So I'll probably do some testing with it, see how accurate it really will be, and let you guys know, probably on social media. I probably won't do a whole video on it, or I may mention it in next Monday's video. But anyway, guys, this has gone long enough. We're at the 15-minute, well, really 16-minute mark. So guys, hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully this shows you some cool tools. If you guys like this kind of information, like different precision tools and whatnot, I've got an entire set of precision tools and whatnot that I use that can measure just finite stuff. I'll show you guys, I'll show you guys feeler gauges, and I'll show you spring clamps, and I'll show you all that stuff. If you would like to see it, let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more videos on these different interesting tools and how to use them. So guys, thank you very much. Make sure and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Check me out on all the different social medias, because I post stuff there, or at least I try to post stuff there as much as I can. And guys, with that ought to do it. I will see you in the next video. Take care.